Welcome to our first episode of the new year. I'm so excited to see everyone. We had 2 weeks off. I feel like I missed the audience. So, guys, welcome again. My name is Herbalyn Marisho, and I am your host for the day today. I see Natasha Charles is here. Thank you. She's the first one. Like Natasha, I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. Happy New Year. We didn't have a New Year's Eve show, so I'm in sparkles.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to say like and share. Don't forget, we're going back to our same thing. Like and share. Tag your friend, tag your family, tag everyone. We have a great show for you today. It's all about changes. So let's get into it. But first, before we get into it, I want to introduce you to our co-host, Mr. Maurice Franklin.
Thank you, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. I can't believe it's the first show for the new year, and I am on the show. So this is very exciting. I don't normally get
Welcome.
dressed up, even for my full time job. I normally a
Uh-huh.
t-shirt and jeans guy, and I am all dressed up and I'm all ready and I'm excited. So
Welcome, Mo. It's a pleasure to
Welcome,
have you.
welcome, Mo. I'm so
I
happy to
think,
have Mo. One moment, Funny. Mo is a longtime friend of mine. I know Mo since I was 15 years old. We went to school together, so it's such a pleasure, like just working with you and being in his presence. He's such a positive influence in my life. So Mo, I'm so happy to have you.
thank you.
I didn't know you went to school. I didn't know you went to school with Mo. That is news to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Welcome, Mo. It's a
Wow.
pleasure. I think you're our second male co-host. So you're making
Yeah,
history here on
Yes.
Podcast.
So
exactly.
yeah, so ladies, it's so nice to see you guys again. I miss you guys over the Christmas holidays. I miss chit chatting and just doing girl chat and everything. But before we go into the hot topics, question of the day: what does change means to you?
Hmm.
Does it make you feel anxious? Does it make you feel nervous, sad, afraid, or filled with excitement? So in the comments, we want to know what does change. This is a new year, and we see how the president is dealing with change. I want to know your views on what does change mean to you, and how do you feel when there is a change, whether it's a death, the loss of a relationship, the loss of certain finances, friendships, whatever it is. Just let us know in the comments. How do you feel about change? All right, ladies. So let's get chatting. So
Just want
anyway,
want to
so
say I just wanted to say to Patricia Cornwell, I hope she's feeling better. She just stated she was in the hospital with COVID. So accept our regards, Patricia. I hope you're feeling well.
oh yes, get well soon, Patricia. She's here. She's here. She said she was in the hospital with COVID. Okay, get well soon. So guys, let's dig in. We have a full show for today. We have a lot of topics to cover because we know what happened last week down at the Capitol. We have a special guest specialist that's going to talk to us about change and how we can embrace it. Let's dive in. Who wants to go first? What's happening in your world?
So, what's happening in my world? I'm looking at everything that's going on the Capitol. We had some domestic terrorism this week. Nobody wants to call it that, but that's what it is. We do have the Capitol, the United States Capitol was attacked by domestic terrorists. And the heartbreaking part of it is that our president has not denounced it, our current president. So, I am super excited about the new administration that's coming in, but I am cautiously optimistic because I know the Biden Harris campaign, they ran on all the changes that they're going to put in for immigrants, all the things that were going to be done in the first 100 days. And I think speaking for the immigrant community, I don't think it's going to happen. There's too much going on with COVID, unemployment. There's so much other stuff going on that I don't think we're going to get the immigration bill that President-elect Biden has promised. So it's a little heartbreaking already because even he's already making the noise as if this is not going to be something that he'll be able to accomplish. So That's what I'm watching, and that's what's going on in my world.
Oh, if Funday, let me ask you, what exactly was the change he was going to make in immigration? Because I didn't know. I didn't.
All right. On the campaign, he said in the first 100 days he was going to put through a bill where he was going to fix DACA. It was blatant. He clearly said it. Like, first 100 days, there will be an immigration bill, and there's going to be a pathway for DACA recipients. He talked about the immigration bans and that he was going to lift them. He talked about the crisis at the border, and he was going to fix it. Now he's saying, oh, it's going to take some time. And, it's similar to like Obama won. It's the same thing where the promises are made, we get all worked up, and then the backpedaling has begun.
Anybody want to jump in there? Mo, I know you're deep into politics.
No, I am deep into politics, but I just Funday, I don't know if you had saw his recent press conference, which was on Friday. I think he had made some changes. He had made some updated. I think some updated changes. And I think the reason why is because he has now the Senate, he has the House, and he has the executive branch, which is the White House. So one of the three things that he has said that his big focus is in the first 100 days is making sure that he end the ban immediately on Muslims, and he also talked about a path to citizenship for so-called dreamers, and he wants his DOJ to investigate the family separation. So I think to your point, I think there will be some challenges, but I think knowing that he has a Senate from the two recent, we have John Ossoff, and we also have Warnock, that he is he's open now to making these changes in the first 100 days of his administration.
Yeah, and we're going to hold him to that, Mo. We're definitely going to hold him to that. I don't see it happening, but we're going to hold him to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, anybody else want to jump in, or you want to talk about what's going on in your world?
Well, I just want to make one more comment regarding that. If I was in his shoes, I'd want to give this job back right now. Or give it back, honestly, because I feel like he's taken on a role at the very worst time that you could really be a president. There's just so much that has to be prioritized, and it's a huge decision to decide what goes first, because we know the big question looming is COVID, and we can get some kind of a handle on this situation. It solves a lot of things. There's a lot of children out of school. There's people who aren't working. There's so much that surround that. So I think that really does have to be a focus, but then you have all this unrest, right? So with all of these different things fighting for your attention, he has to really focus in on what he can do and really strategically plan out what he's going to do step by step. And it's going to I think it's going to probably take more than 100 days.
Yeah, I agree.
So he's given all these promises, what you would like to do, and the climate that we're in with so much nonsense in all different areas going on all at the same time, it's not going to happen. Like, not everything can happen in 100 years. Let's just see where he's at after year one. And at least after year one, we can say, you know what, that it looks like he's keeping most, because politicians do make a lot of promises. You know, they might get 7 out of 10 right. Let's see where he falls. All I can say is that I'm really happy at the work that Stacey Abrams has done in being that strong woman, our superwoman, and making all these things happen. She has been instrumental in a big way, and I definitely celebrate her as a woman, as a Black woman, as a human being, for really stepping out and really showing what it is. If I wanted to see a vision of what American spirit is, she's demonstrated that.
Absolutely.
Example.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Stacey. She has done a major work, like, losing the governor election in 2018 and getting the work done to make sure that she should bring out the vote, because there was so many voter suppression, and she turned that into fighting for the votes. And I have so many friends that are in Georgia, and I was like getting in contact with them, and like, y'all voted? Did y'all get out there? And like, yeah, we did it. We out there already, and we are canvassing the ground. So I think that she has she has done some major work. It's someone who had changed, when they say change lemon into the, I can't remember the quote.
Lemonade. Lemonade.
Yes, exactly. So she has done that. So I'm really proud of what she did, and to have the first Black senator of the state and the first Jewish senator of the state. I think that was amazing, and that was a historic moment. But I want to ask you, ladies, do you think that what happened on Wednesday in the Capitol Hill? Do you think that because of the Tuesday election, the runoff, do you think that caused even a more outburst for them to storm the Capitol because of the fact that they have the first Black senator from Georgia and the first Jewish senator?
I don't think so. I think it's more related to Trump and his dog whistle. I mean, the president has his base. And just like how we believe in what we believe in, his base believe in what they believe in. And if you leave it up to them, the election was stolen. It's like Obama's birth certificate all over again. Like there are people who literally believe this man wasn't born here. So there are people on Trump's base who really think that the election was stolen. And I can tell you, Biden won the election, not because we voted for Biden, we voted against Trump. So there are people who really believe that, you know what, this election was stolen. And to the core, you cannot tell them anything different. So I don't think it was based mainly on the runoff in Georgia. I think it was the fact that, look, I think on Monday, the Electoral College casted their vote. And so it's like the cows were coming home to roost, or the chickens were coming home to roost. Like, wait a minute, this is really happening. Like, you have to pack your bags, dude. You got to leave Washington. So I think it was more of the reality. And I wouldn't be surprised at the inauguration if we don't see some more of this anti-Biden protesting.
I think with what happened on Wednesday, is Wednesday that happened, right? On Wednesday?
Yeah.
I just took it more personal. Like nothing fickles me. Like, I'll be like, oh, let me just turn this off, go back and do what I'm doing. But on Wednesday, I was like just glued to the TV. And the questions that came up for me as an immigrant, even though I'm a citizen, that came up for me is, if something really were to happen, are we prepared as immigrants? And I'm not talking about just going back home. I'm just talking about, do we have enough money saved? Do we have friends with houses in the mountain we could, camp at for 6 weeks at a time? Are we prepared? Are we just talking? But are we making preparation for if something happened? Because what I realized is on my job, we had a morning meeting. And these white people are prepared. They are prepared. They have the houses in the mountain, the stone house over there. They're gonna leave. They could leave Texas and go to Virginia. And they are actually talking about their plans. Like, oh well, this is what we're going to do. They have a strategy exit. That if something happens, I'm trying to figure out, like, do these people know something that we don't know? Because they whether it's food, whether it's money, whether it's extra money, whether it's a card just for this. They have things planned, and that's what I was worried about. Like, am I prepared? No. Do I have things in place? No. So I'm just saying, like, should we have something planned in just in case something, because we never thought that would happen. So we can no longer go say, oh well, this will never happen. This will not happen. Anything could happen. Anybody have that time?
I'm not going anywhere. I think we live in one of the greatest republics on earth with checks and balances. And I think those people reacting are the nervous Trump supporters, because in their mind, Black and brown people are taking over. So that's what you got to listen when people talk. They're not scared of Trump. They're scared of the fact that there's a Black woman going to the White House. So they need to go to their mountains, leave us alone. We good over here. I am not going anywhere.
And they could go right ahead.
Coming to my house, disrespect my home and my family, you meet my Glock 20 coming up the stairs. So those people are just scared because their world is turning apart, and there's a Black woman going to the White House with the jerk chicken sauce, and it's making them mad. They're not scared because people taking over the Capitol. Come on. We have checks and balances. I'm not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere.
They're not scaring me anywhere either. I'm not going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Well, I think because
I hope we don't have another conversation about this.
Fix the hair.
I hope we don't have another conversation about this, but okay.
Let me tell you, if anything, I've always had a bag packed and ready to go to Canada. So that's my excuse.
You
I'll
see, Landy,
just-
Landy, you my girl, you my girl. Yes, yes.
Listen, let me tell you, we will lock up the house and we will go, because I have a very, very nice, very comfortable place where I grew up. We can all have lots of space and I could chill there and just see what's going on. So that is my thought. Because if people are really going to come, and like we said, I believe what Hermelin is saying. You don't know how crazy things can get. Because when you think that things are not going to get that bad, something surprise happens. You really don't know. So for me, that is my go-to spot. Get
So
some
Landy, send me your address, and I'm gonna pack my bags. So because I'm going with Landy.
Yes.
I'm married to a Canadian, so if I have to
I'm
go,
gonna
I'm
ride
going to
with
Canada too.
Yeah, I have my family in Canada. They probably gonna keep me up there. So that's a good plan. That's a good plan. But anyway, guys, to put all jokes aside, what's going on in your world, Miss Victoria?
Oh, so a lot of things is going on in my world. One thing that's going on, well, that's the only thing that's going on in my world. I am pregnant. I am having a baby girl that's due this summer. So some little good news. This is my first child, so it's a little scary for the journey. Pray for me. But I mean, yeah, that's what's going on in my world. Just trying to figure out what motherhood is. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Victoria.
Well, she has a lot of aunties and uncles on the show, so
Yeah.
she has a lot of aunties.
This is our first ride-along baby.
Yes.
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 To get a ride along
yes.
onesie that says ride along on it, and once she's born, I'll take a picture and post it on the gram.
I love that. Don't drink. Hey, ladies, don't drink from the ride-along cup. It will go around.
Just letting you know, all those cups y'all thought it was not wine. It was definitely Gatorade, sparkling apple cider. It was not wine. I fooled all the audience, guys. So don't think I was drinking. It was definitely apple
Don't
cider.
drink from the cup, guys. Stay away from the ride-along cup. Here's mine. Stay away from it.
Oh my gosh. So Funday, you want to do some shout outs? You seen who you want to shout out today? Because I can't see who is online.
I want to shout out Geraldine, Satra St. John, Natasha Charles, Dion Fraser, welcome back, Petra Andrew. Everybody's saying congratulations to Victoria.
Yeah, I figured it was gonna be saying that.
Thank you.
Oh, I see Petra showed up on my on my screen. Petra. Hey Petra. Hi, my cousin Veron. Hello everyone. Welcome. Happy New Year. I know we cannot late, but hey, it's still the new year.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, we're gonna move into our next segment in the next couple of minutes, but I just wanted to finish off this segment by talking a little bit about change and what that meant to me for the new year. So not getting deep, I promise to share this guys next year, 2022. But a week ago, I got some news that was going to change my finances in 2021. And to be honest with you, it's a change, and it's a change I was not prepared for. Mm-hmm. But I did not know when you're going through those changes that you go through the stages of grief as well. Mm-hmm. Where, when you're going through, whether it's a debt, whether it's, as I say, relationship, whether it's money-wise, you go through the stages of grief. So I'm in stage anger still. Mm-hmm. So I'm in stage anger, and I want to move to acceptance, but it's taking some time. And that's why we have a mindset coach that's going to help us move those feelings along with change. And as I ask you at the top of the hour, what does change mean to you? And if anyone wants to share their story of how they move a negative situation into a positive outcome, please let us know. Please type it in, let us know, give me some encouragement. So so with that said, let's go on a little break. I think we're a little bit early. Anybody have anything they want to talk about before we go?
Did Mo tell us what's going on in his world?
Yeah.
Oh,
he chimed in.
Oh, he chimed in. Oh, I was waiting. I'm like, oh wait, did we miss Mo?
But
Well,
no, talk more about what you wanted to talk about for real.
yeah. So, well, in my world, I did my first COVID test on Sunday with Lynn and I, my colleague on the ride along. We did our first COVID test, so it was all negative. And then Tuesday,
I hope
Tuesday, yeah, I have to say it's negative because we were a bit nervous. It's not that there was any symptoms, anything like that. We just, it was the first
Yeah.
week of getting back into the first week in the year and getting back into the workforce. And then Tuesday, I stayed up all night waiting on the results from the runoff election that happened in Georgia. So I spent some time with CNN, chatting with Don Lemon and chatting with Andrew Cuomo. They are my favorites. So we were like, listening to the results coming in. And as I said earlier, I'm excited that that Georgia had elected the first black senator and also the first black Jewish president. But one thing that really stood out to me, one of the highlights for me was when he announced that he won. He said his 82-year-old mother, which was Valen Womack, who picked cottons growing up in Waycross, Georgia, and that she was able to take that same hands and voted for him. And that was very emotional for me because, when coming to my mom, I know how hard my mom worked, and I always say that, I wish I could just make her proud. And I think that by he becoming the senator, that he has made his mom proud. And that was a highlight for me, and that was very emotional for me. And I think that going back to what happened on Wednesday, like when we look at the Confederate flags that was inside the Capitol Hill, when we look at the Nazis T-shirts that was there, I mean, it just kind of gave me a whoop, and I'm telling you that there is much more than what is happening in this country. So we may think that I hear it so often on social media that that look at the riots that happened over the summer, and I don't think that we should compare. I think that comparison is just like comparing oranges and apples. I think for what happened in the summer was the fact that that we were all locked down and we saw a police officer put his knee on a black man and killed him. So we had to go out there and we had to make noise and we had to say, listen, enough is enough. We want equality. We want to avoid all this police brutality. And then what happened on Wednesday is like that election was stolen. And that was not the case. I mean, all these administration officials, his attorney general, and also his cybersecurity personnel said the election was not stolen. And I think that that for pundits and for his administration to compare that, oh well, we didn't say nothing when we had the riots on the summertime, and why were we complaining now about what happened on Wednesday? But I think there were a big difference. And I also want to note that this happened during his administration. The riots that happened in summer was during his administration. He did not temper the tone. So that's the reason why I think we should not compare what happened over the summer as to what happened over the happened Wednesday. But I'm excited. I know Biden has a lot to do. He has to concentrate on climate change. He has the COVID, as Deanna says. He has to do with students going back to school. He has to do with a lot like getting back employment online. So I think he has a lot of work to do, and I'm excited that that everything will work out well.
Well, we hope.
I agree, Mauve. I hear a lot of people, the rhetoric comparing Black Lives Matter to domestic terrorism. I think they're two separate things. And anybody who can't see that are hypocrites. Even I can see that.
Exactly. Let me not say anything because I have a lot to say on that topic.
Well, one thing I can say, if you watched what happened over, the events unfolded on Wednesday, and you never understood what is that word that we say? What white privilege looks like.
That was white privilege.
Clear indication of what it looks like. And if you don't understand that, then either you have a mental problem or something, because it was clear as day. There's no denying what those actions and what they look like. And if the color was different, how it would have turned out would have been horrific. We all know that. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Victoria had me watching TikTok, so she put me on
She
TikTok.
does. She does. Have us all watching
I am
TikTok.
hooked on TikTok.
I'm always on there, guys. I'm always
I
on
get
there.
all my politics news from TikTok through Victoria. I just like snapshots. I don't like the long people. Like, yeah, let me go hear what he's saying. All right, so guys, let's go on a short break and we will come back with Miss Debbie Eno, our special guest for the afternoon, and she will just move us into that change that we want. So let's go on a commercial break. We'll be right back, guys. Don't.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're just waiting for Debbie to come on, and she will join us for the remainder of the show. Welcome, Debbie. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me on. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
We are so happy to have you. And let me just introduce Ms. Debbie. She has an extensive bio, so I'm just going to read just the summary of the bio there. So Ms. Debbie is an educator for over 25 years. And she's a psychologist. She's a transformational mindset coach for female educators who reclaim their life. An inspirational public speaker speaking with educational institution and mindset change, power of the mind, and spoken word. She's a mentor. She's a leader. She even co-hosts the 100 Black Men of London. So Debbie is from London. Okay, guys. She even owns her own carnival bar. She has a Zoom. I mean, this lady have a lot of things going, and I will afford her the opportunity to introduce herself. Welcome, Debbie. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you. Right, I'm an educator, and I'm an educator with a slight difference because I believe that you cannot just talk at students, you need to get them engaged. So in my teaching, I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of dancing and stretching during sessions. I also run 3 shows. One of them I co-host with the 100 Black Men of London, mentoring young boys and girls. Some of them because they do not have positive role model either within the home or in the education sector. I have 2 other shows where I speak to female educators around the world, looking at the challenges and triumph of COVID. So when we're talking about change this evening, that actually fit in quite nicely because for educators, it was a real challenge embracing change. And the other platform I have, I look at mental health issues with educators and students because that is something nobody's talking about. Everybody's busy talking about the fact that these students are losing education, which is intellectual, but they're failing to realize that the mind, the power of the mind, plus they're actually going through mental health issue. I keep on saying all the time on my show, it is easy for a child to catch up intellectually, but once I have a broken child in terms of mental health issue, it is far more difficult to put them back together. So I'm really hot in terms of finding tools for educators, for them to be able to navigate the process of their mental health and that of the students, because nobody seems to not talking about that. And that's a very big issue for me. So there you are. I also run a carnival band in Notting Hill. So it's like completely different from You know, I always say to people that I'm an educator who is, I'm a suffering creativity individual, because there's an aspect of me that is quite creative in terms of travel and designing, etc. So there I am.
Okay, so we have you on this segment here to actually guide us on how we can embrace change. Does it invoke fear? Does it invoke excitement? And to just move past the different stages of grief that we may go through, and just help us get over that hurdle for the new year. Because I know a lot of people is going through change. There's a lot of breakups, and there's a lot of like me, financial changes. So, but with that said, as we see, with our administration this week, that change is hard. So we have some questions for you, Debbie, and we hope you could just help us with that change method as we move into the show. So if you don't mind, we have questions. Mo, you could start off.
Thank you, Hamlin. So Debbie, so I'm sure you heard our conversation earlier about the peaceful transition between the Trump administration to the Biden administration. So President Trump has not accepted the election results. He thinks the results was rigged. Why do you think the president and others are not open to accepting changes?
There's a number of factors, because when we look at change is a process of grieving, because you actually lost something or you're losing something. So you actually go through the whole process of grief, because that's how I tend to connect it. In the same way, in terms of America, it's lack of control. He has no control anymore, right? Another factor is he's also going through the fear of the unknown, because he's not too sure what's going to happen. Because some people are saying that he might be impeached. Some people are saying that he might go to jail. There's so many uncertainties situation with that. The other thing is, it's an ego thing. It's a big thing in terms of ego, right? It's like feeling that he's always done it this way and someone else is coming on, etc. And trying not to give away his power, because it's a control element. So giving away the power when you're not ready to do that, it's quite challenging, because you are thinking, okay, who am I giving this power to? I'm not really liking this individual. I don't think they're going to do a good job as I've done. Although we know when you're questioning what good job have he done, but he's not thinking like that. He's thinking, well, I've done the best job America could ever see, and I've been the best president America could ever see. That link into the ego aspect is like the attachment as well, having an attachment to something, the fear of losing that attachment, because as human beings, we become very attached to things. We are so close to it that we don't want to let go of this attachment. Everything we call attachment, we attach to various things. It could be material things, it could be otherwise. It's an attachment. So he doesn't want to give away that attachment. He doesn't want to give away that power, and that connected with ego. Ego is such an interesting thing, because when you start letting go of that ego, you are able to navigate, because you are able to see someone else's perspective. But the more you keep onto this ego, you become very subjective. You cannot see anything else outside of you. It's tunnel vision. And that's exactly what's happening there. It's like feeling that he could do a better job. The letting go of power. That ego has a lot to do with, I'm afraid, yes, Mo, I'm going to be sexist here. It's very much a man thing. Very much so in terms of this ego aspect. I'm not being sexist, I'm just, calling a spade a spade.
I agree with you.
Like letting go of that.
I agree with you in terms of the ego, because when I listened to the audio when he called the general secretary in Atlanta, like he really believed that he won the election. So I don't think that he's. I think it's an ego thing, and he really believed that he won the election, and it was a sad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Debbie.
Mm-hmm.
So Debbie, I have a question for you. So how do you feel about his followers actually going out to the White House and thinking that it's okay to have this type of, I guess, I don't want to call it a protest, but a riot. Some people really thought they were doing a revolution, starting a revolution, and they are okay of putting their life on the line. With that type of mentality, how do you feel about that?
Right. When we look at the whole thing, right? Leaders, you are going to follow your leader. And a lot of people identify with the leaders. So if the leader is saying everything is okay, you are going to feel that it is okay because that person is in control. It's like the same thing with educators. When educators say certain things, the students are believing it. It doesn't matter what it is because they see those as role model. And when we start seeing the individual as role model, we don't see anything outside of that because our focus, our mindset is that of we believe what that individual do. We see that individual as our role model. So anything they actually do, whether or not it's right or wrong, because of our mindset, we are going to tend to follow them. Leaders.
Thank you, Debbie. So I want to shift a little bit because I think we're going to say goodbye, like show the president the door. I want to talk. I see in your bio, Debbie, that you're a transformational mindset coach, and it's a new year. It's been a rough 2020 for the most of us. And so as we get into this 2021, how do we shift our mindset into these positive spaces? I mean, when you turn on the media, it's negative. People are dying. Like, how do we shift our mindset into like whether we want to start a new business or whether we want to feel okay to carry on, okay to live because we've lost friends, we've lost family members? What kind of advice can you give to us and our audience as to how we can do that transformative mindset?
One of the first things I tend to say to people is sometimes we have to go on news fast. Right? That I mean is the media control. In order to control the masses, you control the mind. And it is very, very powerful because most of the things in terms of advertisement, they're written by psychologists because it's basically saying if we want to get the masses to follow us, one of the things is instill fear and therefore they're going to be following. Because when people are fearful, they do anything because it's a confusion state, because they're unable to separate reality from fiction. And that's what's happening really right now because the media is controlling. People don't know what is right and what is wrong. People don't even know what to do. It's a mindset thing because we've been conditioned and we've been told, this is happening, but what is really true? We don't know because we are not able to see different sides. So that's one of the things I keep on saying to people. You need to go on a news fast and then you'll have to decide for yourself what you feel that is right for you. Right. Another thing is in terms of our mind, the mind is the most powerful organ. It could either make you or break you. So you decide what you want it to do for you. So you need to decide for yourself, okay, these are the things happening. I constantly say to people, the universe never gives us everything negative. The universe gives us both negative and pluses. It depends on what you're going to make really dominate your life. You need to, although the positive might be very small, but you need to find that little positive and exaggerate it. A typical example of this is educators. When we actually first got into COVID, as educators, we've always taught in the physical classroom. We had no clue as to how to navigate the online platform. Some of us had no training, but we had no choice. It's either you sink or you swim. And therefore you had to look at it, okay, I would have to find a way to navigate the whole thing. And yes, it was very tearful. Yes, it was frustrating. And we go through the same process of the loss process because you lose in the classroom something you're used to, because the mind becomes very comfortable when it is used to something. And as educators, you are very used to that process. So therefore, you need to find a way to navigate and to find new ways to going through the whole thing. So my advice to people is, yes, I understand all that, but we have to find the little positive in all of that and exaggerate it. Because for educators especially, all other industry had the experience of navigating the online platform except education. And we were thrown into it because we were never trained like that.
Mhm.
So having no choice. So it's like finding the little bits and exaggerating it and say, okay, I need to find that as a win. You know,
Yes.
that would be a win. You have to find the little thing, because if you don't, it means that you keep on going downhill. You need to find things that you also need to ask yourself, okay, what does these things mean to me? What is the most important thing in my life? So it's like finding what it means to you, finding your why. Why do you need to do that? What is the reason? It's finding the reason. Because as human beings, we actually do some things according to the power of the reason we've got. The reason why you're getting up in the morning, I've got children, so I have to get up in the morning. I have no choice. So your reasons and your why need to be big enough to enable you to navigate those things. So you just have to make it,
That's
big why.
I agree with what you said, because what I did after Wednesday, I went back to my favorite book, and my favorite book is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I went back into that
Powerful.
book. I went back into that book and I started reading to shift my mind from the negative thoughts to the positive thoughts of what's going on in the world, my personal life, and everything. So I want to ask you, what are some of the navigation tools or processes we can use outside of just reading a book, like anything like we could just do, just to make the necessary life change that we need to make to move forward?
Well, one of the first thing is news fast. You have to also ask yourself, what control do I have over this? Because there's no point in you actually spending time on something you have no control over. What you're doing is increasing your anxiety and increasing your stress. Also, surround yourself with positive people and positive things. Because we do have a lot of people who want you to be in the pity party. Because they're negative, they want to bring you down in that way as well, because they don't know anything differently. So you have to decide, okay, how is this person serving me? Are they serving me in a positive way, or are they bringing me down? You need to be able to identify that, because you would know the emotion that you're feeling after you spend time in the company of that individual. Because some people we spend in time, you realize when you leave them, you're feeling worse than when you were actually with them. So therefore, you need to take steps. I understand that sometimes it is not easy to do. I know all of that. But then you need to see the why. We're going back to the why and the reason. Because the more you start focusing on your reason and your why, the more you are able to navigate those things. And another thing I encourage people to walk in nature. Just go and have a walk. It could just be walking down the road. And it's so fascinating when you're actually walking. You're actually noticing and begin to appreciate things that you never saw before. Although it was there, but you were so busy doing other things, you never saw those things. And journal. I'm a great believer in journaling. Journaling, which means that you just pour out everything inside of you and just read it. Because the more you pour things out, the more you're beginning to see where things are going wrong. Because going back to the mind is so powerful that there's sometimes cognitively some of the things it's telling you, it is irrational. Because only when you put it on paper, you realize, hold on, this doesn't make sense. Why were I, thinking in this way? So those are some of the things we need to look at. And it's like doing simple things like burning candles, having a nice long bath, and actually being in yourself, in your space. Mindfulness is another aspect, having your space, and that's your space, and just enjoying what is there. It's basic, simple things that we normally take for granted. Another thing is doing a gratitude journal. There's sometimes you need to shift away from yourself and identify what you are grateful for and what you've got. Because too often we tend to go on about, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have X, Y, Z. Hold on, but what have you got? The most powerful thing you've got is life. That is so very powerful. And what can you do with this life you've got? So one of the things we need to constantly remember is the power of gratitude, because we take people and things for granted, and we don't realize how grateful we are to have the things we take for granted. So there's sometimes when you actually pull people back to, okay, I understand you're going through all of that. I appreciate that, is acknowledging the stage they're going through, because one of the worst things is if you deny what they're going through, it becomes frustrating for them because they're actually fighting against it. But acknowledging it and sitting in it, accepting it, and once you start sitting in it and being very mindful of where you are and where you're at, and then you begin to navigate it. There's no point in fighting it. It's like I keep on saying to people, it's like surrendering. Surrendering doesn't mean that you're giving up. It just means that you're just accepting where you are and just embracing it and just sitting with it. Sometimes that's all you need to do, is just to sit with it.
Wow, that was powerful. That was powerful. Anybody have any questions they want to throw out to Debbie before?
No, I just wanted. I was over here. I'm sorry, Debbie. I was just busy taking my notes.
Taking the notes, right?
Yes, because I think the news fast for me was big on the journaling, just the positive journaling, and I love the part about burning candles. So I just wanted to say that was super, super helpful. I don't know if anybody in the audience have any question, because they were commenting, and yes, these are powerful words. Rosalind Best says she journals and she sets her intention for the day, and the day she writes down what she's grateful for. So powerful words, Debbie. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, that was really, really, really powerful, because you kind of answered my last question, because I was going to say, as I said earlier, that I did not know when you go through even small change that you go through the same stages of grief as if somebody died, because you are losing something, and you go through the denial and the shock and whatever it is that we go through, and I'm stuck in anger. So my question to you was like, how do you move over from anger to acceptance? But I think you kind of answered it, because you said sit in it. Sit in it. For me, the part for me that bothered me was tone and delivery. And what I realized this morning when I was journaling, I realized it was a trigger. There was a trigger, something that someone said to me when I was 18 years old, and that's why I was stuck in anger. So how, give me another tip, how to move from anger to acceptance.
Well, another thing is, the fact is sitting in it, as I said earlier on, and it's a matter of, yes, you're angry, but as you begin to journal, you are going to ask yourself, one of the questions you need to ask yourself, how have I contributed to that? Whether or not you say nothing or you say something, you still contribute to it. And therefore, you need to look at, okay, what was the level of my contribution? It's being honest with yourself, because too often we are not honest with ourselves. You need to be so honest with yourself in terms of this anger, because you need to ask yourself, okay, why am I angry? Is it something that I have not fulfilled? What is it all about? What is this anger telling me? So it's like you're questioning it. And look at the words that you are using as well. Words are so powerful, eh? So you need to look at the words you're using within all of this, because some of the words you use could also trigger the anger, because what is it all about? Why am I angry? Was it justified what this individual have said? Or how have I contributed to it? Oh yes, something I've said that actually make the whole, spiral the whole situation. So words are very, 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 very powerful. We need to check what we said, what we say rather. We need to check that quite a lot.
Wow.
Because we tend to say, oh, well, I didn't know anything. Is that possible? Is that possible? No, but then you have to ask yourself, honestly, it's very painful sometimes, but you also ask yourself, how have I contributed to that? It's like you're reflecting. The ability to reflect is a powerful teacher. So, and when I say reflect, we need to reflect very honestly, because reflection is very, very painful, because it means that you are actually looking in yourself and you're actually saying to yourself, okay, what have I done and how have I contributed? How does it make me feel? Because then the ego come into play.
Right.
Because, you know, it's like when the ego come in, it's like you're trying to fight it. No, well, I didn't do that. I didn't do. But it's your ability to detach from the situation, because we form a lot of attachment, I said earlier on, to certain things. The detachment is also powerful.
Oh my God, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this gem with us. Don't go away. We have the last part of the show, the last 7 minutes. So stay with us. We want you to chime in on our last question. So shoot it, Mo.
Do you emoji? I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Do you emoji? You should. Emoji, a brand new social media platform where you can social your way. With a simple and quick way to engage, meet new friends, and social the way you just love to. No annoying blocking or censorship. Check out emoji.com from your mobile or desktop PC. Emoji.com. Do you emoji? Well, you should. Log in now. Emoji.com. Do you emoji?
Emoji.com. Log in, sign up, and emoji.
Welcome back, audience. So, ladies, I have a question. I don't know if you all saw the social media buzz that is happening out there, but the President Donald Trump is permanently banned by Twitter. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Was his First Amendment right being taken away from him? Share it out.
Okay, for me, I have two things, right? You know, like you hear your parents say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Like, no, like, oh, well, I don't know what he's thinking or what he's saying. So what is he planning? So that's where my mind is. It's like, one part is happy, but one part is like, oh, well, he could be planning stuff and taking, you know, things gonna happen by surprise because now we don't know where his thoughts are.
I feel like he should be banned because, one, he shouldn't have a platform. It's very dangerous to use certain words and have a following and getting people riled up to the way that he has gotten his followers riled up. And I was very proud of Twitter being able to block him and say, no, I do not accept this, because what if this went to another level, right? He could have taken this Twitter thing to a whole new level and got more people involved, and then we're in an entire mess, right? If you know history, we've seen a lot of things, a lot of leaders, horrible leaders that caused problems because they had a lot of followers and they believed what he said, and, you know, killed many people, right? So we don't want to do a pattern of the history from a long time ago. We don't want to see that. So I'm very proud of Twitter for blocking him. I'm tired of seeing him. For the 4 years I've been blocking him, you know, in my mind. So I'm happy they took that stance and blocked him on Twitter. So yay.
Yeah. So so fine, block him from social media. But I think one of the things, okay, Donald Trump is a horrible person, but I think one of the things I will miss about having a fresh face in DC is the swampiness of the same political people recycling them way through. They recycle their way through American politics and land right back where they started. For better or worse, like Joe Biden has been in DC, I think, since I was a child. So I'm going to miss the fresh face of calling out, because remember, in the first year or two of his presidency, he was calling out all the icky stuff in DC. We're not going to get any of that anymore because now all the politicians are back in bed. he definitely misused his platform. He misused the power. He misused all of that. But now we have the same set of politicians, same set of people eating dinner at the country clubhouse, playing golf. And then they're the same set that are running the country. So that part makes me nervous. And now we have nobody there to call them out for their slackness. So I'm going to miss that.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what the audience thinks. But Yolanda, do you have anything you want to share on that?
I just want to share that I'm tired about hearing about Donald Trump.
To the door, yeah. I think we can talk about yeah.
I'm sorry, like I'm just done with all.
I side with you, Landy.
I entered this year. I had 5 people die right from like the 29th up until the 31st of January, and I just trying to sail through this real cool. Just appreciate life. I haven't really been tuning in too much to the things that are happening on the news because it doesn't really matter to me that much, because what I'm most grateful for is my life. Mm-hmm. And the fact that every morning I wake up and I have the opportunity to reach for all the things that I want to, and my kids are good and my husband is good, and my father is like everything to me. He is the last of a great generation of elders. Everybody else has passed away. So I have this thing where I have to make sure that he's good. Every morning I speak to him. Every afternoon I speak to him, because I have this thing like, when he's gone, like what's left? Mm-hmm. So, when we were talking about fear and change, that change for me is going to be tremendous when this last elder leaves this world. And it's like, I spoke to him the other day. I'm like, Daddy, I just want to tell you I love you, and you've had the biggest impact on my life. And he's like, and one day you're gonna go, and who am I gonna talk to? Because I talk to him every day. He's like, I look forward to speaking to this man. I spend like an hour speaking to this guy every single day. We laugh about all kinds of things, and these are the things that I hold on to right now. So yes, we are in a very chaotic world, but I want to center my circle around the people that I love the most, because if one thing I know is that life is super, super precious and is not promised to anybody. Anybody's life can change at the light can turn on and off for anybody.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with this. So I don't really want to get caught up in this. I don't care about Donald Trump anymore. I just want to try to live as best as I can right now with the time that I have, and do the things that matter most. That's it.
I love that. Kudos.
That is great, Landy. So wow, look at this. It's nearly 1 hour. We only have 1 minute, and before I leave, I will plug myself. So guys, if you are a domestic abuse survivor or victim, I have a group called the Caribbean American Domestic Abuse Survivors Empowerment Group. It's a safe place where we share stories, we laugh, we cry, we inspire each other, because we believe there is life after abuse. And I will put my link in the comments so you can join us. Come, we are reading a book. You are more than enough. So join our little unofficial book club this year so we can begin, be empowered. So I want to thank everyone. Thank you, Mo. And thank you, Mo, for joining us. Thank you for being our special guest. I want to thank everyone. I don't know if anyone have any last words. Do we have a minute? No?
I have a last word. Can I say something?
Sure.
Listen, this might be very unpopular, but I miss Donald Trump tweets. I don't know, like there is a void right now. I'll probably get used to it, but I do understand the reason why they do it. But I just want to say that I do miss this tweet, because I used to get his notifications all the time. I'm a Twitter junkie, and I think that I'm happy that they did it, but I just want to say that I miss it. That's my last word.
Thank you, Mom. Honesty is the best policy.
Exactly.
Right, I know, right? Thank you again, Debbie, for sharing the gems with us, and that could propel us into where we want to go or where we want to be. And we'll definitely put your information in the comment section if anyone wants to get in contact with you. Thank you guys for amazing.
Thank you guys. Stay blessed. Have a
See you back next
fantastic
week.
evening. Thank you. Bye bye.
Keisha,
Bye bye.
Whew.